The subject of this video is anger, part 2. Namaskar. So what's happening when we hold it? Boom! Each person has anger. Stupid doctor. I'm very, very important. I am protecting her from being depressed. Dad was yelling, grandfather was yelling. Yes, I am angry. Maybe it's time to start to work on that. Why are you sitting? Go! Go! To see part 1, you can click the link above me or in the description box below the video, or at the end of this video, you can click the square on your screen. Welcome to AB Lifetime, channel about mental health, and I'm Anna Babikova. This video will help you to explore your anger and understand the root. For some of you, it will be surprising discovering what is underneath your anger. By the way, in first video, you already started to discover. If you haven't seen that yet, you can see the first part. You will be able to understand where is rage coming from. Also, understand clearly which anger management techniques would work for you. Find the solution, and find the solution based on knowing about yourself. And maybe it will help you to see the anger differently and stop being afraid of your anger. My idea of this video is to show that anger and its normal emotion which you experience on each day, regular basis, and don't be afraid of it, but understand it. Understanding the nature, this is the key. So, and we kind of, in first part, you already seen that, and this part we will be talking to our anger. Also, in this video, I will answer the question from first part. It was about who is responsible about the anger, and the question was about the cashier in the store. If cashier doesn't give the change, and it's obvious that she is supposed to give the change, and who is responsible if the person who is not receiving the change get angry. Who is responsible for that? The structure of this video and the first part video is we have introduction in both parts. In first part we have 2 cases, and in second part we will see 1 case and case analysis of all cases. In the end of each part we see the summary. That would be wonderful if you evaluate and subscribe the channel right now, and your evaluation by like or dislike really helps me. And by the way, what helps me very good, if you write down your comments, your questions underneath the video. It helps me to do my job better and to produce that videos which really fit your needs. I use psychodrama techniques. In this particular video and all other videos, I am taking the roles. So if you come to my groups or individual sessions, then in individual sessions you are the one who are taking inner psychic roles. If it is the group setting, then all participants are taking the roles. So that's how psychodrama works. Here I am taking the roles. Okay, let's see the case and talk about that. These doctors are the reason my grandmother died. She was 90 years old and she could live 10 more years. And this stupid doctor, he couldn't read the x-ray. I am, with my accountant education, could see that there is a tumor. In time, I saw that. This stupid doctor didn't. And my grandmother died. He's responsible for that. I will sue him. He needs to pay for his mistakes. Stupid doctor. Case analysis. Like in the first part, let's do role reversal with anger. There will be Katie and her anger. And we will see what anger will tell. In the group setting, the roles of anger, and sometimes even Katie's role for Katie. Some participants of the group, they would take. And anger here is intrapsychic role of Katie. Here I am Katie. Here I am Katie's anger. I'm very, very important for Katie. I don't let her fall down into the depression. He already experienced once in her life, the depression. He doesn't want to do that again. I am protecting her from being depressed. Do you understand that or not? Katie, do you understand? I need to be with you. You are strong with me. You are really strong. You have energy. Don't you remember how you were depressed laying on the bed the whole year? Don't you remember that? You need me. You need me. Let's go and punish these doctors. They are the reason that your mom died. Yeah, stupid doctors. What do we see here? Obviously, we see underneath the anger is loss and grief, which is very hard for Katie to accept. We don't know how long ago her mom passed away, so maybe it is very fresh loss. Anyway, here to be the focus of the work should be the grief and loss. But what is important here, which part about anger important? If Katie, by her behavior, damages other people, or she gets angry and this anger damages her, she cannot express it enough, then it's something what hurts her and other people. Then it is important to manage it by certain techniques like breathing and so on. But the most important, if not to work with the cause of this anger, then nothing changes. In all three cases, we kind of seeing that it is fresh events, right? Like they recently happened. We're thinking about they recently happened. And it's very interesting about when we meet the situations when people are just all the time angry. Last 40 years, person is angry. And to find the root of that, what's behind that. And you know, very often during the work you can find out that it is not even this person's anger. Sometimes it is inheritance of previous generations. Dad was yelling, grandfather was yelling, and now this man is yelling because they were yelling. What happened? I don't know, my dad was yelling. I just don't know anyhow how to act differently. So we're looking on that. And again, in psychodrama, we can even see what was happening. We can build the scene with previous generations and see what happened there and work with this person anger. And very often it is, again, it is losses, it could be fear and everything, but it's not this person, the reaction, it's not this person anger. It could be just he's pulling from there. Also, what is important to pay attention to is transference. When we deal with, I don't know, for example, communication between husband and wife. Wife is angry on husband and she is yelling on husband, expressing her anger. And at that moment, it is really important to understand whom she is yelling on. Is it really husband, or who is behind the husband? Maybe it's dad, which was telling that you are not good enough, or you broke the bicycle recently. Dad doesn't like it. He tells you are a bad girl, you are a bad boy. Some general information about the anger, which is important to understand. First, who is responsible for my anger? And there was the question in the first part about who was responsible for the anger. Okay, trying to imagine, so a person is coming to the store and cashier doesn't give the change, and it's obvious like the product costs $80 and you give the $100 bill and the cashier is supposed to give 20, and he doesn't. And this person gets angry. Who is responsible? And there is arguments, and they're in arguments, so who is responsible for that? Here is very important to understand that for our personal emotions and feelings, only one person is responsible. Is me. My feelings, my emotions, I'm responsible. Another person is responsible for her emotions and behavior. So that person in the store, it doesn't matter how that person acts, but I'm responsible for me and everything what's happening here, and that person is responsible for that. That's it. Next thing what's important to understand. Sometimes the anger expression is turning into almost addiction, and people start to use their close ones to express the anger. Just use them and feel better, just in not healthy way. Just put down other people with their mood by expressing the anger. It's almost like drug addiction. The mechanism is kind of the same. And yes, it is important in these situations, is important to use these techniques to manage the anger. I mean, techniques which are working right now, to start breathe or start rationalization. Using the anger management techniques is good idea, but it is important to understand the root, what's going on, what makes me do all this stuff. If you see that you hurt people and you see that it clicks right now in your mind, yes, it looks like I do use my close people around to release my anger on the regular basis, then it is time to do something about that. First, yes, you need to quit this behavior, but then you need to, it is important to understand what was the root, what was your trauma, what are you carrying there. Maybe it's time to start to work on that. In couples relationship, anger is very often about frustration on expectations, and it's about not expressed needs. One person needs something and frustrated by not receiving that. The focus there is supposed to be on healthy way of anger release, healthy way of anger expression, and of course in couples relationship it is about the needs, so the work should be focused on the needs of each partner. Next thing which is important is each person has anger. It is absolutely normal emotion to experience it and have it on the regular basis. Everybody have it. It is important to accept and understand, yes, I do have anger. What is important also to understand is that the anger is tabooed in our society. Even though each person has the anger, but in society it is tabooed, like, oh, it's not okay to be angry. This is the main contradiction. We usually do not accept angry children. Like, it's not okay. Oh, it's not okay. This is such a nice little girl, 4 years old, with such a nice little curls and the blue eyes and everything. How it can be that she's so angry? This is not okay. So what's going on with this girl at that moment? She starts to suppress this anger and carry it inside. And since that age, 4 or earlier or later, so we're suppressing the anger. And anger has energy, and so what's happening when we hold it? Sooner or later it blows up. Boom! Next thing which is important to understand, that anger, it is poison for our body, for physical health. I am not going to go deeply there are many researches, you can find that. So if you suppress the anger and carry it inside, do not express in healthy way, then it's just poisoning your body. High blood pressure, coronary disease, heart attack, stroke, it is the all wonderful consequences of not expressed anger. In those three cases which we've seen, there was the anger kind of like, I was playing like nice anger, like quiet, nice anger. Let's see a little bit, let's increase the intensity of the anger, and let's see. What does it do with the health? I'm Albert. This is my anger. I'm Albert and I just got fired. I just got fired and I'm thinking I spent at this job for, I spent last 30 years at this job. They just like this simple, they just fired me? That's impossible. This is possible, absolutely. Albert, just take your guns, go and shoot them. Yeah, you need to show them who you are. Revenge. This is what they need to see. Hey, come on, Albert, go! Go! Why are you sitting? Go! Where are your guns? Boom, 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 boom. Come on! Go! So you see how in psychodrama techniques, how you can see what anger does with you. Albert here, real Albert, can see what anger does with him, right? And Albert can put aside, put as a separate part and see what anger, because anger is not Albert. Yes, it is his part, but it's not the whole Albert. And in certain situations, the anger is just taking over him, right? And Albert can put aside and see what anger does with him. Next step, which is important, of course, to understand, is that therapeutic thing is to being able to express anger in healthy ways. Not therapeutic is to hold it. It is a healthy way of expressing anger. You are not damaging other people. Let's go back to that example with the person in the store when cashier doesn't give the change. It is important in that situation is to be able to express the anger, not hold it. How it is very often, very nice people hold it. Oh, really? Oh, no change. Oh, okay. Maybe I didn't understand something, right? And go away. And that's what is when you start to hold the anger. No, it is important right now or later. If you didn't understand that later, just come there and express that. Explain. No, it's not okay. I supposed to have my $20 change. And just find that ways, I try to show my voice stronger, just find your ways which is you understand that part of your anger, part of your energy you put in your words. That way which helps you to express the anger. Sometimes it's just telling the truth. In normal way is already expressing the anger. Where is rage coming from? If you have the rage, it means that you were holding the anger for a long period of time. Really, what rage is, it is not expressed anger for a long period of time. Then it turns into rage. This best example, everybody use it when you are driving the car and suddenly somebody is getting in front of me, cut you away and getting in front of you. And when you start to have the rage, it means just try to imagine you just appeared on this earth. You do not have any previous experience, nothing. And somebody cut and got in front of you on the car. There is nothing serious. Yes, it's dangerous. It's something you don't like this, but it's not something when you are just like, like your blood start to boil, right? And your eyes are like boom, 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 like filling up with the, with the red color. It means that there was something before which you were suppressing, and it could be today, yesterday. You don't even already, usually it's you do not even pay attention how are you filling up yourself with the suppressed anger. today, what was happening today, what was happening yesterday, 1 week ago. But when you are at the point of the rage, usually it's not today, yesterday, and 1 week. It's 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 20 years ago, and starting from your childhood. This what is important to be aware of. It's kind of you were eating the anger with a big spoon, eating, metabolizing it and never expressing. Anger is primary or secondary emotion. As I mentioned before that prior doing this video, I did the research, and right now they are telling that it's primary emotion. Years ago, when I was trained, we were talking about that it's secondary. Anyway, at this moment, I'm not on that side or that side. I understand it doesn't matter. It is your personal decision. Is it your primary or not? It's just important to understand, is there just anger alone, or there is something behind? And if there is something behind, then what is that and how does it affect me? And then it's turning into not turning into anger. Anger starts to appear to be a cushion between me and, for example, my grief or fear or whatever other more emotions. What is important with anger to understand, I would say it is like with addiction. When you are shooting heroin, it is important to understand that primary is to stop shooting heroin, and then to understand what was happening and all your childhood trauma. But the first, and that's why when we're talking about addiction, we're taking it as a primary disease. Usually, very often, we are dealing with childhood trauma, and to being able to survive the childhood trauma, person start to shoot heroin or start to drink alcohol, then start to shoot heroin just to be able to cope with that overwhelming feelings. When we are dealing with that, first we need to stop. It doesn't matter what was happening. It doesn't matter that moment what was trauma is. The same with the anger. It doesn't, if you are damaging other people, it's important to stop being angry. At this moment, we are taking it as a primary, and we need to stop this behavior. And then we need to understand what's behind. Why I'm telling you about this primary, secondary, and about these techniques. When you start to search for anger, there are usually a huge amount of anger management techniques, but without understanding what is anger, nature of anger. Anger management techniques are great. Just when there is dysfunction, it's important not to put on the top of dysfunction certain type of managing anger in this situation, anger management techniques. If you do not go to the root of the problem, to the root of the dysfunction, then these techniques, it will just, and when you are dealing with anger, putting on the top, okay, let's start breathing and breathe and breathe, because yes, breathing works great, for example, and it will manage anger right here, right now. But you are not going to release the anger. You are not going to get rid of that. You just, on top of that, you just put breathing technique, which works right now, but it doesn't work with the root of the problem. Good news, good thing about anger. There is a lot of energy and there is a lot of resource. Anger is a motivator for changes, for new things, for victories, for success. Very often anger is the forcing power for creation, for stopping using substances or any other addictive behavior. Very often anger is very good cause of that. Victories in the sport, victories in Olympics, the best victories, very often they based on anger. Anger helped a lot, starting new. I am tired of this life. I'm going to start new page. Summary of both videos. First, what is the most important about anger? To being aware of that. So, inner question to myself. when I am getting somewhere there, what's going on with me? Am I angry? Yes, I am angry. This way, it takes away part of anger already. For some people, just being aware and understanding that takes a huge amount, like 50% of anger. Next step is understanding the root, understanding the real problem. Usually, there is not only anger. Usually, there is something behind. How do I use anger management techniques and what is it for? I mean, wisely using them. Yes, they are working great, but do we do only anger management techniques, or we are really looking at the root of the problem and working with that? About anger management techniques, if you would like to, I can do the separate video about that. I am not putting the techniques here because the focus of this video is anger nature. Understanding the anger, not anger management techniques. You can research on internet and find your techniques which would work for you. The most important is to understand. I would group these techniques into 3 subgroups. First category is how to express your anger in a healthy way. Second one is how to release the anger, like tearing the paper and writing the letters, and remember not sending them, right? I know, because sometimes people would write these angry letters and send them. And how to stop the anger right now. I'm so angry and I understand that I'm harming other people. I need to stop this behavior right now. Here is right again, we are always in front of the choice. Do I hold my anger and understand that I'm harming myself, or I let it out? But if I'm letting it out, then in which way, in which manner? And if I'm not harming myself, but I can harm other people? And usually why we're holding it, it is because we don't know how to express that. From our childhood, our parents didn't like that we're expressing the anger. They didn't accept us with anger, and we learned to suppress it. So the main thing is to be able and to learn how to express it in a healthy way. In many cases, we are afraid of being not able to control when we start to express the anger. And that's why we unconsciously prefer not to express it at all. Like, if I start to express the anger, if I will be not able to control it, if I will go crazy. It's important, and there is no other ways how to do with that is than learning how to do that, right? Learn and train yourself as any other skill. Without doing that, without trying that, you don't know how to do that. Yeah, there is no magic pill how to express the anger. It's only just working on yourself, and it is about your personal growth. About our personal growth, about learning, about getting new skills, we need to spend resources. Usually it's our time, and sometimes it's money. In psychodrama, I know that there would be question about psychodrama. Yes, in psychodrama we do have special techniques to release the anger. When I was doing the research, I found on one video where they recommended just don't take it personally. It's just funny. Anyway, all these techniques, some of the techniques, right now I would say some of these techniques work, but I would say the technique just don't take it personally usually do not work. For now, maybe it can work for 1 or 2 minutes, but later it will blow up. I think that's all about anger. Please ask your questions. It is important for me to understand I do fit your, not me personally, my video fit your expectations, they answer your questions. If you have additional questions or something not clear, please don't hesitate and ask. That would be wonderful if you comment and like or dislike. Anyway, just don't do 0, do plus or minus. That's all work great for me. Thank you. I work in Monterey, California. I do work individually and I do groups. I also do retreats. you can all see on my website. If you live distantly and you still want to work with me, I do online counseling, so you can simply connect me through my website or give me a call. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in next videos. Namaste.